Viewers, it's time for the news, 6 p.m. in Douala. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Feast of the Assumption to all Catholic Christians out there. Our Majesties right away, peace, love are the greatest virtues the world and our country I need. At this moment, those words were echoed at various sermons during masses across Cameroon as Catholic Christians the world over celebrate the Feast of the Assumption today, August 15. The Assumption is the day Catholics believe the Blessed Virgin Mary was taken up to heaven body and soul. We will be telling you how it happened in some parishes here in Douala in this edition of the news. And in sports, the Cameroon Football Federation FECAFOOT has lost most of its cases at the court of arbitration for sports. Viewers, those are our major stories. Stay with us for details. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for always being there. My name is Anna Bilaleke. Today we are celebrating the Feast of the Assumption. So we begin in religion. Catholics and many other Christians today celebrate the Feast of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. This significant feast day recalls the spiritual and physical departure of the Mother of Jesus Christ from the earth into heaven. Immaculate Fogwe reports on how the feast was celebrated at the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral here in Douala.
Christians of the St. Peter and Paul's Cathedral, Douala, commemorating the Feast of Assumption. The celebration, characterized by prayers, worship and praise, aims at celebrating Mary, the Mother of our Savior Jesus Christ, who assumed into heaven, body and soul. Christians attest of the blessings they obtain due to the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. I and my family pray the rosary every day. The novena has done wonders for my family. I urge everybody to pray the rosary because it is a powerful prayer tool. Reverend Father Bernard Onantonye, the officiating priest, invites Cameroonians to unite and pray for peace. I urge Christians and non-Christians to unite and seek the intervention of the Virgin Mary during such difficult periods. We Catholics do not worship Mary, but we rather honor her for her outstanding role. Mary is regarded as a queen of peace, so we need to beg her to intercede for Cameroon. The Reverend Father urges women to emulate the Blessed Virgin Mary by living a life of humility and faithfulness, and equally continue to say yes to the will of God in good and difficult times.
And still talking about the Feast of the Assumption, the Holy Father, Pope Francis, has urged Christians, not only Catholics, but Christians as a whole, to pray for peace in Cameroon and also across the world. During the peace pilgrimage in the town of Bafoussam in the West region, the Bishop for the Bafoussam Diocese, Monsignor Lonsi Kenye, warned against continuous killings and barbarism in the country. Mala Glory tells us more.
Enough is enough. Please. You Christians, you priests, you bishops, work every day, day by night, to stop the world.
Enough is enough, they say, of the violence that has engulfed the country for the past years. Catholic Christians are called upon to pray for peace in Cameroon as they celebrate the Feast of Assumption. On the eve of the solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, a peace pilgrimage took place in Bafoussam, West region, during which His Grace Paul Lonsi Kone re-echoed the message of peace.
You Christian of Bafoussam Diocese, be peacemaker. Work for peace and be a model for others, because we cannot just speak, we cannot just celebrating peace. People are looking forward to see whether among Christians there are certain person doing good. So let us do good, because by doing so we'll be disciples of God and God will bless us.
The event brought together government officials, Catholic Christians all over the West region and the Northwest region. the Northwest Regional Governor Adolphe Lafrique promised everything is being done to ensure lasting peace in his area of command.
We are therefore in the Northwest region doing our utmost best, working with professionalism to bring back long-lasting peace in the Northwest region, but also praying with our religious leader of all the congregation, all the denomination, for long-lasting peace to come back in our beloved nation and our beloved Northwest region.
You see that people have come in their numbers to pray for peace in this diocese and in Cameroon.
The peace pilgrimage in the town of Bafsam comes after a call from the Supreme Pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Francis, urging Catholics all over the world to pray for the return of peace in Cameroon.
And now away from that, we come back to the unfortunate incident which occurred at Mobile Guinness here in Douala, the mudslide which cost the lives of at least 40 persons. The victims of the Mobile Guinness collapsed 3 building incident say they are still homeless, stranded and psychologically disturbed. 3 weeks after the deadly event or incident, they say authorities visited the site for selfies and made one-man show declarations on media. They will identify and assist every victim. Innocent as a met with some of the victims and compiled this report for the news.
3 weeks after the Mobile Guinness incident that claimed 42 lives with 21 casualties hospitalized, victims still live in miserable conditions.
I lost my girlfriend. My girlfriend was in my house that day. I'm just sleeping anywhere. I was having my small taxi. I used to sleep inside. My friends, they give me dresses to wear, even food. So I do not have anything. This is the only thing that I can remember that came out from my room. I have the taxi that I have to continue my life from there. I lost all the documents. I don't have no money to do any document to continue my life. So I'm just there.
During a press conference at the Douala City Council, the authorities pledged to bring aid to the victims in terms of treatment, organization of funeral, and other means to enable them resume life. Speaking to some of the victims, they say they have received no form of assistance.
We haven't gotten anything from the government. For now, I'm the one taking care of my leg financially. Gone to the hospital and I'm still going to the hospital. I'm still taking drugs. I need to start taking some injections, all at my own personal expense.
If they have made any promise, we have not received anything. We have not met with anybody that have even promised. That is just a promise on media, on telephone. They just come and make that selfie and they just go, they will come with their cars, come and park, they will wear black and come and they will just turn and go back. All those people that have come down here, they just came to make the one-man show.
Even those hospitalized pay from their pockets.
I have a neighbor, he's having an injury on the head, in the head, blood clot. It needs to be operated from his own pocket. He was saying I had already spent 150,000 and he still have to go for the operation, because if not that, he's going to lose his memory.
Coupled with this is the indelible trauma instilled in them by the incident.
I spent more than 10 years here, and all my neighbors that I know, most of them, they are dead. So when I'm walking, it's like I'm calling their names. I cannot sleep. At times I sleep at night like this. It's just like something will touch me or just get up for nothing.
Speaking of records, a victim said a family from Bamenda is still in search of their loved ones who were living in the collapsed story building. According to the victim, it is possible corpses are still buried here, alleging the rescue team did not have appropriate equipment to dig or search deep to recover all the bodies.
And now to the Mongo division, precisely in Melong in Q2, where the local population there woke up today in the early hours of the morning to discover a fetus which had been abandoned in a gutter, and the author of that abortion is still on the run, as Lucy Liengu is here tells us in the report which comes up next.
Locals of Q2 in Melong woke up this Tuesday morning in shock. A lifeless fetus was discovered in a gutter by a young boy who says on the first sight he thought it was a doll baby. Being confused, he had to inform his friend's mother, who confirmed it was an abandoned fetus.
It's one of my sister's son that they saw the child that is poupée, is dolly baby, so they carry the child and keep it there. Because when you carry the child, maybe this 6 months or 7 months, it's already a baby, a child, and you went to go and remove the child and put the child inside the water because it's beside the water. So we are just around that just for look whether the person will come or the person will not come, so we don't know.
Inhabitants of Quarter 2 strongly condemn such acts, which they consider to be disgusting.
As me as a mother, when if I was the person, when they saw the person, they can carry the person to the highest court.
Je qualifie cet acte de criminel. Vraiment, c'est terrible. C'est terrible.
This is a criminal act. Others are looking for children. Some even invest millions looking for a child. Some go as far as stealing in hospitals just to get a child. This one had a chance, but she decided to abort.
Vous savez la suite. Vraiment, c'est regrettable.
Informed about the incident, security forces of Melon Police Station descended on the scene to get first-hand information, after which an investigation was launched to track down the author of this despicable act. Meantime, the fetus has been removed by workers of the Melon Municipal Mortuary for burial.
Unfortunate. And now we talk politics. Gabon is using the single ballot system in her upcoming general elections, and this has once more raised the debate on why Cameroon has not adopted that system of voting despite the years-long cry of the opposition, notably the Social Democratic Front. Some analysts hold the opinion that the current regime does not want it because it will destabilize their election rigging mechanism. But Dr. Nick Nguayam thinks the most important thing is good governance that will open the way for the provision of social amenities which will improve on the living conditions of Cameroonians. Let's now listen to Dr. Nick Nguayam in this excerpt.
What is important, the process must be proper, the structures must be proper, but above all, the human element is more important than the structures. When people are crooked, when people don't tell the truth, when people don't act in love, there will be problems. You will see that there have been problems in the election in Nigeria, and it stems from the fact that human beings cannot be trusted. The ballot paper, be they multiple or single, that's not where the problem is. The problem is in the respect of truth and love, the respect of institutions, the respect of the laws put in place. So what people want is what comes with good governance, not a ballot, not a single ballot box. That's not what is important.
Still in politics, we take you out of our national frontiers. Residents of Niamey, Niger, say they believe that ousted President Mohamed Bazoum is guilty of treason. Their reasons came as the military junta that took power in the country says it plans to prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum for high treason and undermining state security, an announcement that came hours after the mutinous officers said they were open to dialogue with West African nations to resolve the regional crisis. If convicted, Bazoum could face the deathly penalty according to Niger's penal code. For me, Armstrong Sanda completes the story for us.
The Sunday night announcement said Bazoum was being charged following his post-coup exchanges with high-ranking West African politicians and their international mentors, whom the leaders of the revolt accused of making false allegations and attempting to derail a peaceful transition in order to justify a military intervention. The statement did not identify specific foreign nations and did not also specify a date for the trial of ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. In the streets of the nation's political capital city, Niamey, residents say that they believe that Bazoum is guilty of the charges threatened against him. Niger is a West African nation of some 25 million inhabitants. It is one of the countries that Western nations partnered with in Africa's Sahel region to beat back a jihadist insurgency linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. Before last month's coup d'etat, Europe and the United States of America claimed they had poured hundreds of millions of dollars into propping up the country's military. Members of the presidential guard ousted President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26, 2023. He has since been under house arrest with his wife and son in the presidential compound in the capital Niamey. The junta has faced international pressure to release and reinstate Bazoum. Immediately after the coup, the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS gave the regime 7 days to return him to power and threatened to use military force if that did not happen. The deadline came and went with no actions from either side. On Monday, ECOWAS condemned the junta's treason charges against Bazoum, calling them provocations and contradictory to reported willingness to peacefully restore constitutional order in the country. The junta has, however, received support from its West African bloc counterpart, notably Guinea-Conakry, Mali, and Burkina Faso.
And now in sports, viewers, we told you in the headlines that the Court of Arbitration for Sports (CAS) has ruled that the Cameroon Football Federation FECAFOOT should reintegrate Gibai Gatama into the Executive Committee of the Football Association. And besides the FECAFOOT versus Gibai Gatama and Co case, CAS has also ruled that Panthers Sportive of Ndé should regain top-flight football in the country after they were abusively relegated to inferior league. These rulings were published earlier today by CAS, as Manjikan Gabriel tells us in the report. This comes up next.
News dropped like a bombshell to football stakeholders in Cameroon as the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS), based in Lausanne, cancelled decisions taken rashly by the Cameroon Football Federation FECAFOOT and one of its commissions. Amongst the 3 decisions taken by CAS was the demotion of Panthers Sportif of Ndé to the inferior league. According to the ruling from the Court of Arbitration for Sports, Resolution number 15, taken on August 27, 2022, during the FECAFOOT General Assembly meeting to relegate Panthers Sportif of Ndé, is null and void. The decision was taken when FECAFOOT was electing members of its judicial committee. Thus, the decisions have been cancelled by CAS. The Court of Arbitration for Sports is also asking FECAFOOT to pay Panthers Sportif of Ndé 3,000 Swiss francs, which is about 2 million francs CFA. Another important decision taken by CAS was that asking FECAFOOT to reintegrate Gibai Gaitama into the FECAFOOT Executive Committee. CAS accused FECAFOOT for arbitrarily deciding to kick out Gibai Gaitama during an urgent General Assembly meeting which was organized on August 27, 2022 in violation of the FECAFOOT Statute, which states clearly that such a gathering was supposed to be done by writing within 7 days before the date of the General Assembly. For the disrespect of their own laws, the Court of Arbitration for Sport says Gibai Gaitama should take his position at the FECAFOOT Exco, just like Francois Kwadem of the West Regional Football League and Gilbert Schlick, who were kicked out. CAS says FECAFOOT will pay Gibai Gaitama and Co. 5,000 Swiss francs, which is about 3.4 million francs CFA. The request from Gibai Gaitama and Co. asking CAS to suspend Samuel Eto'o after he was accused of tax evasion in Spain was rejected. The Court of Arbitration for Sport says Gibai Gaitama and Co. can only make it happen within Cameroon if they organize a General Assembly meeting.
Thanks, Matt. And that sports report brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Viewers, don't go away. Talking Points comes up next. Welcome back, viewers. Today is the 15th of August, and Catholic Christians, we told you the world over, are celebrating the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary into heaven, body and soul. And our guest tonight is a Reverend Sister Paul Valerie Mendongo. She is of the Congregation of the Sisters Servants of Mary. Sister, thank you so much for accepting to talk with us on Equinoxe Television tonight. As a Reverend Sister of the Roman Catholic Church, can you explain to us in the layman's terms the significance of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary into heaven?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about this great mystery of the Church, the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. The Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary is a dogma. The dogma was proclaimed by Pope Pius XII in 1950, and it stated that Mary, being conceived without original sin and still virgin, could not have experienced the same fate as all of us. When we die, the body experience decay. So the body of Mary did not decay, and Mary was taken into heaven, body and soul. That is the teaching of the Assumption. And if we begin the history of our salvation, the history of revelation, you will see that Mary is present throughout the history or throughout the life of Jesus Christ.
And now, sister, when we read the Bible, we get to know that Jesus, the Blessed Virgin Mary, was present in the life of her son, Jesus Christ, from birth until when he died. How can you qualify the presence of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the life of his son, Jesus Christ?
You see the Blessed Virgin Mary throughout Jesus' life, and standing by the cross, even during the Calvary, during the station of the cross, Mary is there, and her presence is comforting, and she is there praying, standing by his child. And at the cross, we see her standing tall. She is there, and she did not escape. She did not faint. She was there silently. She was present. And the apostle who says that he was loved by Jesus, was most loved by Jesus, he was also standing there at the cross, and by the cross, he was standing by the cross. And Jesus, before he breathes his last breath, looks at his mother and says, "Woman, here is your son," referring to Saint John. And he also tells Saint John, "Son, here is your mother."
And Sister Paul Valerie, there are usually these devotions. That is how they are called in the Catholic Church. That is, it's somehow like in novenas that some Catholic Christians, those who believe in the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary, usually say those devotions. What is the importance of saying a devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary? What are those devotions all about?
Know the devotion of Mary as Mother of God, and Mary as the one who is in heaven to intercede for us. And people always say that if you want to see your problem solved, go and give it to Mary. Your problem will be solved.
We must come back to these questions which most non-Catholics or other Protestants always ask or argue. They say Catholic Christians actually worship Mary, meanwhile Mary is not God. So what arguments, you as a Catholic Christian and as a member of the Seven Sisters of Mary, what arguments can you push forward to explain is that Catholic Christians do not actually worship the Blessed Virgin Mary?
We are not the one giving Mary her importance. No, it is God. It is God himself who elevated her. It is God himself who put her where she is. We are not the one putting her where she is. Whether we want it or not, Mary is the Mother of God. Whether we like it or not, whether we are Catholic Christians or not, because it is something we cannot do without. Mary is always present, even for those who don't like her, even for those who claim that, okay, we are like people always say we are adoring Mary. No, Catholics are not do not adore Mary. Even Orthodox are even strong believers of the special place of Mary in the history of salvation. Catholics are not really strong. Anyway, it is my personal opinion. They are not really strong as you think in the devotion of Mary. Orthodox hold Mary in a very, very high and special esteem. So we do not adore Mary. Mary is not God. We venerate Mary. That means we respect her, we acknowledge her special position, and we acknowledge the greatest privilege she had or she has as a human being, to give birth to the one who made her, the creator of heaven and earth, because you know that Jesus is true God. So that is why the church also acknowledges her title of Mary, Mother of God, that we celebrate every first day of the year. So Mary is our companion, and we have never heard that somebody who entrusted a situation or something, a problem, confided in Mary, went away disappointed. We have never heard such a thing. So whenever we call on Mary, whenever we go to her so that she takes us to Jesus, we always have effects.
And now, sister, this last question before we go. We know most times when we pass in front of any Catholic parish, we always find the effigy of the Blessed Virgin Mary placed there, and we always find people who are either genuflecting or people who are kneeling, people who are praying. It means that they always have some benefits after praying for the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Do you have some testimonies, because you've been a Reverend Sister for about 15 years now and even more? Do you have some testimonies to share with our viewers out there?
Recently, we heard of a blind young girl or young boy, I don't know, blind. He was born blind, and at Fatima is another site where the Virgin Mary appeared to 3 children. So recently, during the World Youth Days in Portugal, we heard about that a young person who recovered his sight. Yes, at Fatima. It is a miracle. And in Lourdes now, there is a spiritual, it has become an international center where people go there. Many sick people go there. Even those who are not Catholics, they go there and they recover. They actually see miracles there. So it is not something we'll just build up. No, it is something you have to experience by confiding, by talking to Mary, by asking for her intercession. You will see many things that she will do in your life. So it is not something that somebody will tell you. It is something that you can experience. And I know many Presbyterians who pray the rosary, and actually Luther, who is the father of let me say churches stemming from the Reform, you know that there are many I have many friends who are actually Presbyterians and who pray the rosary. They pray with the rosary, and it is not it doesn't mean that we adore Mary. No, we ask for the intercession, and you will see the prayer that we say it's Mary's prayer, Hail Mary, full of grace. Those are the words the angel himself, the angel of God, uttered. Yes, the first part of the Ave, that is, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. It is, those words are not coming from us, they are coming from the angel of the Lord.
Thank you so much, Sister, Reverend Sister Paul Valerie Mendogo for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Just to remind our viewers that you are of the congregation of the Sisters Servants of Mary. Thank you again for accepting to be our guest and hope to have you some other time. And viewers, we thank you so much for always being there. Don't go away. Our programs continue as usual. Today, the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Equinoxe in about 30 minutes. So all the Catholic Christians out there, once again, happy feast of the Assumption to you all. Bye-bye for now and see you tomorrow, God willing.